Welcome to All Saints Catholic School e-learning. The big idea we will be exploring today is how to construct the conditional tense for all verbs in Spanish. For this session, you will need to have watched the big idea video on this topic first, the topic of conditional tense for all verbs. You will also need a quiet place where you can focus. And lastly, you will need a pen and a paper that you will use to put the conditional tense into practice. Good luck! By the end of this video, you will have achieved 3 things. Number 1, you will have recalled how to form the conditional tense for all verbs. Number 2, you will have looked at some examples of answers using the conditional tense. And number 3, you will have analyzed some answers from the 16 marker and 32 marker from the writing paper. Now, before we begin the main tasks, let's recall our big idea, which is the conditional tense. For this task, I would like you to take a few minutes to see how much you can recall and how much you can retrieve from the conditional tense in Spanish. Therefore, I would like you to have a look at these statements and please identify and see if you can recognize the 3 statements that are true. There are only 3. Fab. The answers are B, D, and E. Well done. Which questions do you think the conditional tense will be useful for? Now, it will be very useful in the writing paper, specifically on the 16 marker, whether it's foundation or higher, and it will always appear on bullet point number 4. Also, on the higher paper, for the 32 marker, it would also appear there. However, there is no specific bullet point. You could use the conditional tense in any. Also, finally, the translation conditional tense will be used there too, whether it's foundation or higher paper. Now, I would like to say that the conditional tense will be very useful too in the speaking exam. However, as you may know, this year there is no speaking exam, but if you did have the speaking, the conditional tense would be very essential as well to use in the exam. Now it would come up on the in the photo card and the general conversation, whether it's foundation or higher. Please don't feel like you don't need to use it because you're not having the exam anymore. You don't have the exam anymore. It will still be very useful, especially for those students that would like to take Spanish at an A level, because the speaking would happen in A level for sure. Now let's work out what you have learned about the conditional tense. For this activity, what I have done is that I have chosen a bullet point from a 16 marker question that requires using the conditional tense. So what I want you to do is to have a look at the 6 sentences that I have written here, and I want you to identify the ones that you think are written in the conditional tense. Have a go. See how it goes. Okay, I hope that you were able to identify the sentences that are written in the conditional tense. Those sentences are number 1, number 3, and number 5. And hopefully you will have noticed that the sentences are written in the 3 different forms that we have learned in the previous video with the big idea. So on number 1, you can see that we've got me gustaría, which is I would like, vivir, which is a verb in the infinitive, which is I would like to live, and then you also have on number 3, no me gustaría vivir, which is the negative, and as you know, it's quite easy to do the negative in Spanish, as you only add a no in front of the first verb. And lastly, on sentence number 5, we've got mi mejor amiga y yo nos gustaría viajar, which is my best friend and I, we would like to travel. So again, it's an example of one of the forms that we learned in the previous video, which is using the we form. Right, now moving on, over to you. So after we have retrieved the conditional tense and we know how it works and how we form it, now it's time for you to put this into practice. So what I've done, I have selected a few bullet points that I've taken from different questions from the foundation and higher paper. And what I would like you to do is to read them, and I would like you to write a paragraph for each bullet point using the conditional tense. So, as you can see, some of the questions are basically overlapped, meaning that you could have found them on a foundation paper as well as a higher paper. And lastly, the last bullet point is the only one that I have taken from a higher paper. So, again, have a look, break it down, try and understand what the bullet point is asking you to talk about, decode it. Then you already know that the tense that you're going to be using is the conditional tense. See how you will be able to answer to each bullet point. Also, you will have noticed that every bullet point is about a different topic, because that's how the real exam is going to be. It's not just going to be about one topic. All topics are going to be mixed up. All the topics that you have covered during your time studying Spanish. Okay, good luck and all the best. Okay, so to help you out and to give you a bit of guidance, what I've done on this slide is that I've put sentence starters that will help you just in case you're stuck and you don't know how to start your short paragraph for each question. So, for example, for the first one, we've got ¿Qué trabajo no te gustaría hacer y por qué? And that means in English, what job you wouldn't like to do and why. So as a sentence starter, I've chosen a time indicator and I've chosen when I am older, I would like, and then you say what you would like, what you wouldn't like to do. So remember, this is in the negative form. Think of how do you say I would like to do whatever you would like to, you would like to do, and then think of how to do the negative. Remember, doing a negative is very easy. All you do is add the no in front of the first verb. So, Do the same thing for the remaining questions. Just write a very short paragraph. When I say a very short paragraph, I'm talking about 2 to 3 lines maximum, and see what you can come up with. Right, so you've now had some time to work on these questions by knowing how to answer them, by writing some answers for each question. On this table, what I've put is different samples, different model answers for each question, and you will also notice that the conditional tense plus infinitive is underlined and written in bold font. So hopefully you have been able to achieve the goal, one of the targets that we had for this working it out lesson or video, as I should say. Now, what I would like you to do to stretch and challenge yourself, I would like you to expand these sentences that you've written by making them more complex. So when we say by making them more complex, making sure that you've got intensifiers, connectives, adverbs, complex opinions, and so on and so forth. Okay. Bien, great work. You have successfully recalled the pattern for verbs in the conditional tense. You have also considered which questions to use it with, and you have practiced how to use the conditional tense in exam questions. Fantastico. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope it has been very useful. Adios.